the jungle's back, got the natty pack in the orange
Welcome
and black.
to Week 16 of the Grueling Truth Cincinnati Bengals weekly show, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. As always, I'm your host for the Bengals show, Mike Goodpasser, and I want to welcome in my co-host, Joe Kelly. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing great, Mike, man. Great week. The Bengals recovered from that Steeler week. We went in. Everything wasn't pretty in San Francisco, but the biggest thing on this level is getting a victory. We went down there, and we did what we were supposed to do. We clinched a playoff spot, but I think this week's game with the Broncos, it's probably the biggest game of the year. So, I'm still excited. Our defense played lights out. There's a couple of concerns, obviously, without having my redhead gunslinger in there. There's some issues. But other than that, man, we played solid, and I think Eiffer's going to be out this week, man. So I think that the biggest thing is just get healthy. We got to get healthy come playoff time. And if that's the case, I think everybody here in Bengal Nation will be happy, man.
Well, definitely. We have a very special guest tonight. Played with the Cincinnati Bengals, was a return man, running back, probably best known for the 93-yard touchdown return in Super Bowl 23. Help us welcome to the Bengals weekly show, Stanford Jennings.
Hello. Hi, Mike and Joe.
Man,
glad to be with you guys. My man, Joe.
Man.
Glad to be with you guys.
Yes.
Hey, it's great to have you. Let's start off. We'll start off with the game against San Francisco, 24-14. Very boring game, but as Joe said, we got the win. What was your biggest concern from that game, Joe?
The biggest concern is obvious. With me, it's obvious with the loss of 14. Andy. I think McCarron, I think he did a solid job. But the offense, he didn't get the offense moving, and part of that was our interior alignment, our centers and our guards pretty much got dominated pretty much the entire game. So, I thought that we could get our running game established against San Francisco. But just like we were talking about last week, Mike, despite San Francisco's record, these guys are pros. These guys have some Pro Bowl caliber players. They have some talent over there, and they fought. They fought well. I think their defense played awesome. But with us, I think we went in. We scored those 21 points. In the first half, and we just sort of held on. But I think our offense, definitely we're going to have to establish the run. Our interior offensive linemen are going to have to do a better job because the bottom line is you can't keep going 3 and out and expect your defense to continue to hold an NFL offense down the entire game. And it doesn't matter if they're a San Francisco offense or, one of the teams that are not in the playoff runs. These guys are professionals, but I think our defense definitely stepped up and led us to victory last week.
All right, that brings us to the next game, which is the Monday night game against the Denver Broncos, which is basically for the number 2 seed for the Bengals. I have the same concerns you do with the offensive line. I mean, I think ran the ball like 36 times for 68 yards. So Stanford, I don't know if you saw the game from down in Georgia or not, but do you think the problem with the Bengals running game has been more the offensive line or more the running backs?
I think it's been something that's we've been kind of recognizing all year. And I think it has to do a little bit with both. I really, living here in Georgia and certainly kind of being in the SEC country, when we picked up Jeremy Hill at LSU, and I certainly had an opportunity to watch him in college and knew the talent that he was and what he was going to be able to bring to the Bengals and had a great first year. And, I think certainly within the second year you would say that some of the teams have somewhat figured him out. But I just think that it's really kind of gelling with the O-line getting some timing right there, and just really just kind of having confidence and just kind of making that cut and trying not to make too much happen. Just kind of planting his foot and just turning upfield and using his big body. Gio is that other change of pace guy and who's had probably a little bit more success than Jeremy this year. But I tell you, once these next couple games here, it's going to be they're going to have to be basically the epitome of what a tandem 1-2 punch is going to be, and that's going to be the difference in how far they make it throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, so we talk about the run game a little bit, Joe, but also both teams playing with backup quarterbacks. Brock Osweiler has played well in the first half. So over the last 3 games, he's had a passer rating of 109. But over the last 3 games in the second half, his passing rating has been 65, and they've been outscored 36-0 over the last 3 games. Do you think that that's something that somebody has seen in Brock Osweiler they've been able to take away where they couldn't adjust? Or why do you think they're having more problems in the second half than the first half?
Well, I wasn't able to watch some of the other Bronco games in its entirety, but I was able to watch that Pittsburgh game last week. And I don't think they really put a huge emphasis on that last hit he took prior to halftime. He hurt his shoulder. They sat him down. They talked him out. Matter of fact, I think another quarterback was warming up, and he took a good shot. And when he came back in the second half, you were talking about a totally different dude, a totally different quarterback. First half he was making those throws. He was those long 15-yard outs that you have to have a great NFL arm to make. He was making all those throws. In the first half, he was eating Pittsburgh alive. But that second half, there has to be something that was wrong with his shoulder, because just if you look at his progressions, if you looked at his follow through, they were different. He was kind of hesitant in the second half, and it had a lot to do with those guys from Pittsburgh. Those guys are from Pittsburgh, Mike. They were bringing the wood, So those guys are coming, man. So I think a huge part, if we're going to have success, is to get our guys, especially our outside guys, Dunlap and Michael Johnson, going. I don't have any problems with Geno Atkins, because I know 97 is going to bring it. And Stan, he's from down that way, Stan. I don't know 97, man. That 97 is a monster.
I've yet to see that guy. I've yet to see him be blocked.
Right. So it's with the backup quarterback. We see that Osweiler is totally capable of making huge plays. He's come out and he's had the best passer ratings in football this year. And then you see in the other half. I think the biggest thing and the most important thing for us is to make him have that second half. Bring up that second half, Osweiler, as opposed to that first half. Because if not, it could be a long day for us.
Yeah. Now, Stanford, when you talk about the Bengals' offense, like I said, they've had trouble running the ball, had some problems with the offensive line, and I think that had a lot to do with why they didn't really let McCarron throw the ball a whole lot last week. What do you think should be the game plan, the way to attack Denver with the offense that we have against their defense, which their defense is number 2, giving up points, but they're 1 against the pass and the rush?
I think the key is going to be not to shorten the playbook and really just open things up for AJ. I think it's going to be unfortunate that we're going to lose Tyler Eifert for the game. I understand that still he will not be dressing for the game, but still there's so many weapons that the Bengals have, and we really have to keep things opened up for AJ to kind of exploit them as best he can. I think that with AJ Green on the outside, he's going to get a lot of attention, so that's going to open things up for others. And to allow AJ McCarron to have the full playbook, and certainly let's let's have a more successful run game going. Really just kind of get our minds made up there that we need to run the ball and just run it effectively, and just really have the entire playbook. And because I think that this kid is A.J. McCarron. I mean, he's a guy who has being on prime time is nothing new to him coming out of Alabama. So
right.
I think that he's going to be up for the challenge and ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, now Joe, Bengals defense against the Broncos offense. The Broncos over the last few weeks seem to be going a lot more intermediate passes, but you've had Demaryius Thomas and Vernon Davis both had a hard time holding on to the ball, had a couple big drops each against Pittsburgh. How would you attack the Broncos offense?
With us, Mike, I think we keep the same recipe. We do what we do best. I don't think we have to change a lot to deal with Denver's offense. I think we can stay pat on what we do well. That's dominating the offensive line, our front seven, our linebackers filling the gap. With 55 back, that took our defense to another level. We have Pac-Man back, and you see the impact that Pac-Man made last week immediately. So I think with him back, I don't know if Iloka is going to play. But 36, he stepped in and he did well. He has to do well because he's number 36. I
was about to say, I like that guy, Joe. I like that guy.
Yeah, Sean Williams. Sean Williams.
Does he return kickoffs as well?
No, man, he ain't got.
No, he just plays safety.
But he's we just do what we do. Our deepest line, we have to get after Osweiler. They do have some speed on the outside. Anytime you have a guy who can run like Antonio Brown, like this kid from Denver, that's always a concern because I think as a whole our cornerbacks are not lightning fast. I just think with Pac-Man's experience and his knowledge of the defense, and just being a guy that's been around 10 years, he can study and know how to play a guy with that speed. And I think Kirkpatrick he has to learn how to play against those guys with that much speed. I think underneath our guys can deal with their tight end Vernon Davis, and I think they've been pretty disappointed in their other wide receivers. And these guys had outstanding years in the NFL, but for some reason they're dropping a lot of passes. And I think Stan probably can talk about it more than I can as far as catching the ball from Peyton Manning and you catching the ball from Osweiler. I think every quarterback's, their ball is a little different. So, I think you probably can ask Stan about that because I'm a linebacker. So, we can't catch. That's why we play linebacker. It's not right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly that receiver crew. I mean, they've been certainly accustomed to Peyton and his the rotation of his football, passes that he's throwing, and also just the speed and just the overall touch of how it's layered in there and just floated in there.
Mm-hmm.
And but still it gets down to the concentration piece, and I think that whether they're trying to do something before the ball is there, but certainly we'll be okay with them making a few more drops, timely drops,
right,
as they're playing us there this Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, this Monday night. And
right.
And you mentioned Adam Jones. I mean, that's one guy who Kathy and I are watching the games here. I mean, there's so many players on the defense that we Carlos Dunlap, who's a homeboy as well, really enjoy watching him, and certainly Gino.
Right.
But we Adam certainly at the kind of the top of the list there as well in regards to just the type of football player he is. He's just such a talented dude.
I thought. I mean, in my mind, I thought Pac-Man played well enough to garner some votes for the Pro Bowl. So I kind of disappointed some of our guys. I was glad we had 5, but I thought, in my opinion, I'm biased, obviously, Pac-Man and Dunlap and Dalton.
Absolutely.
I think those guys got shafted.
Absolutely. So we'd much rather them miss that, so that due to the fact that they're playing in the Super Bowl. So
right, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So what's your pick for this week, Joe?
You know what? I'm still, Mike. You know me. I've been with Who They Nation all season, and damn it, Mike, I don't think I'm going to change either. It's going to be us. I think A.J. McCarron is going to play a little better. I think that he's going to get more comfortable with going through his progressions. The great thing about it last week, even though our offense wasn't as effective as we normally are, he did not make bad throws. He didn't force balls where they shouldn't have gone. He just took the sack and you live another day. So I think that was great. But I think with this week, we're definitely going to have to play better because we are playing against some beasts. With those two guys with 58 and 94 coming, and those two corners that they have, you're talking. You can arguably say that, hey, the two best defensive ends tandem, in the league, and tandem-wise, the two best corners. There's an argument. So our guys are going to, our offense is going to have to definitely step up. But at the end of the day, I think our defense can match what they do. But I think our offense still is a little bit better than they are. So I'm going to go in a close game. I'm going to say 24-21 Bengals.
All right, Stanford.
Prime time. I think that I'm going to go with the Bengals here. I think that we're going to show up in a big way. I think AJ's going to be able to shake off again kind of the prime time piece of it, and I'm going to say 21-14.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go 17-13 Bengals. I think it might even be lower scoring than that because I think both of these teams are going to have a hard time moving the ball against the two defenses. I'm going to go with the Bengals in a close one. Now, if you got a few minutes, Stanford, can we ask you a few questions about your career with the Bengals?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, I know you played in the Southern Conference at Furman, right?
Yes.
And I know, was there any apprehension? Was there any apprehension coming to the NFL from a smaller college? I know you played on a Furman team that was really good. I think you left there as the leading career rusher. I think you guys beat South Carolina one year, Georgia Tech the next. Was there any doubt in your mind whether you could make that transition to the NFL?
No, not really. And I think that, as my freshman year, Stump Mitchell was playing for the Citadel at the time, and Stump, tried to recruit me when I did the visit at the Citadel. And I think kind of watching him, throughout his senior year and, that he goes to the NFL the next year, and, I'm a sophomore and, playing against the University of Florida and playing well against them. It's one of the things where I felt that certainly the opportunity was, if the opportunity was there, I think that I would do well, and certainly had what it took to play at the next level, and really just
and you got drafted. I think you got drafted the first year Sam Weiss was here, which I think he also played at Furman. Any thoughts, any stories about Sam Weiss playing for him?
Well, oh my God, let's see, how long is this show? Let's see. No.
As long as you want to talk, Stanford.
Okay. No, it was such a great football mind, and playing for Sam, he was an offensive guy, so. My experience of playing with him was certainly from that mindset. Here's an offensive coach, and kind of what we did creatively, to the offense, and creating a number of different things. But Sam was certainly the brainchild of a number of things that you kind of see what's happening, today. And it was truly a pleasure playing, for him. And playing on, being a part of that, and certainly, the Furman connection. I see Sam now when we go, I go back to Furman, and we still talk. And but yeah, Sam's. I would say that with all of the things that I think still lingers today, from you don't live in Cleveland, to
right.
all the different things. It's just really fun, and just to kind of think back and just really be a part of that up close,
Yeah.
Yeah, that team was fun to be around. I mean, it was fun just to go to the games back then. Me and Joe talk about it. The crowds are nothing now like they were back then.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
the jungle.
Probably what everybody would.
The jungle.
Yeah, the jungle is what it was back then. Now it's just, I don't know. It's nothing like it used to be. I know I took my kids to the playoff game against San Diego there. We went together every game during the regular season. And every game I'd tell my kids, you got to wait and see how loud this is. And it never was as loud as it was when my dad took me. Even the playoff game. In the playoff game, it was like everybody was sitting there just waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah. And that's what Sam.
Where in 1988, everybody knew something would go right. I mean, my greatest memory from that year wasn't even a playoff or a Super Bowl game. It was the Washington game where Chip Lowmiller misses a 29-yard field goal, which he never misses. Which basically won us the
hit the goalpost. So
hit the goalpost, bounced off.
Yeah. Part of having a successful season, because the caliber and the quality of guys and talent is so equal when you go team from team, and even the teams that win the Super Bowl and get there, there's luck. You have luck on your side. The luck of us staying healthy. The luck of us, like Stan, Mike Stan wasn't, but probably Stan was the most versatile running back that we had by far. That could run, could catch, could come out of the backfield, could return. We had those guys, and I think more than that, we just, it was just special. It was just special. Everything about on the field, we had great relationship on the field, but we had a great relationship off the field. Our families, our wives, our girlfriends, our kids. And I think that played a huge part of our success. In '88 also.
Absolutely, and like I said, we all are still so close. Today. I mean, we absolutely we all are just we love each other. We're just very close today, and there's just nothing we wouldn't do for each other. And I think that all boils down to kind of the camaraderie that we had, there during our playing days, and how that, just continues on. We're teammates for life, and we're brothers. It's right. That type of relationship. Yeah. And
finally, of course, we have to ask you about the kick return. I mean, it's something that happened 25 years ago, but still Super Bowl week.
27, but who's counting? No.
I know, but I didn't want to say 25. Sounds better.
Go ahead and put my age out there, Mike. Go ahead. No, here's the funny thing.
Before you answer, Mike, you have to know that now the baby was born the night before.
Day before. Yep.
The day before. So so his daughter, she was born the day before. And
that was Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
Kelsey, yep.
Right on your shoe.
There you go. I still remember it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And the thing, Joe, I don't know if you guys knew, but it's Kelsey was visiting us today here, and that game was on. Rebroadcast of that game was on the NFL Network today, and she was kind of channel surfing, and she came in agreement and told me that it was on. So it was kind of funny. We all, saw that. I don't know if she's ever seen kind of the TV broadcast of that, and so it's kind of funny. Kelsey will be 27 next month, and it's like that's how long it's been. But it's
right.
Yeah, it's just. It's kind of funny, after you see that, then I can't watch any more of the game, so it's over then, So, so I have not watched that game.
I've actually, I recorded that game when it was happening, and I've never seen past that moment in that game because there's no reason to watch the rest of it, I don't think.
Yep.
And it's the funniest thing, I don't know if I'm sure you've heard Dave Lapham's call of that return, correct?
I think I had, and I may still have in my chest of just all that stuff, the cassette tape. Someone gave me a cassette tape of that call from the radio broadcast of Lapham, and I still have it, but it's packed away somewhere. But I just kind of remember that. But that was that was
I feel sorry for anybody who was just listening to the game because nobody would have a clue what was going on the way he was screaming.
That's good. I watch it, man. Around Super Bowl time, man, I see that, and even though I know the outcome and hope the outcome is going to change, when I see the fan get that kickoff, I'm still down. Last year I was watching last year's fan, and I was like, go Dan,
That's it. That was it.
Hey, after almost 50 years, that's still the single greatest play in Bengals history.
Oh man, it is. That's something, man. That as Stan's teammates and all of us, that is you couldn't have scripted it better. Especially for Stan.
Yeah.
Before, man, and just it was just one of those things that one of the highlights in your career. That play still resonates to this day. And you still get that those chills around Super Bowl time because they always. They're going to go through all the.
They're going to show it,
That's one part.
And the great thing is, your kids being born is like the greatest moment of your life, and to follow that up the very next day by returning the kick and I mean that's just amazing.
And when you certainly when you talking to Kathy on the phone, after it's like I'm going to tell us I'm going to do something special, for Kelsey, and then to do that. So that was would be a storybook, had we won that game, but but still it's fine. But we've got some good memories.
That's some great memories.
That
was awesome, man. That was awesome.
All right. Well, Joe, you got anything? You got anything final to add? We haven't asked Stanford if he has any crazy Joe Kelly stories.
No, Joe was. Here's the thing. Joe was the inspirational guy, and just gonna give you a background on the Gone Joe, because he was that emotional, inspirational guy, and I'm on the sideline, watching our defense, and when Joe's making a play, he's that excited, and and I'm cheering him, to get his attention, trying to get his attention, because he knows that I'm just, he just gets me fired up, and it's just, it's just great. But that, it was one of the Rockies. I think it was the second one when Joe Frazier was on that show, and I think he came in the ring. He came over to Apollo Creed, and Apollo Creed said, "Go on, Joe. Go on." And I said, "That's it. That's it." So next day in the locker room, I'm telling Joe that, So just get him fired up. Oh,
That's just how I played, man. It's just, I knew at times it was, it was something that I could offer, the team.
Yeah.
Because you like I said, it's tough every week, and doing, we all have our parts, and a lot of times my part, I knew it was my part. Hey, man, I got to get the team up, get this defense going. You get that, and then that's how it is, man. Somebody makes a play, somebody gets up, and next thing you know, you got your team up and going, and everybody start playing well. So, we have some great times, man, some fun times.
Absolutely.
Well, Stanford, it was an absolute honor having you on the show tonight. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, again, my pleasure to join you guys. My pleasure.
Yeah. So,
all right, Joe, any last final words?
Well, I once again, thanks, Stan, man, for coming on the show, man. I've been excited all day, waiting to hear from Stan.
Yeah.
But this with Bengal Nation, man, I think everybody should, we're reading a lot of press with our injuries, and everybody's. I don't think Bengal Nation is as confident going into this game as we have in other games. But I see us going to Denver, even though you talk about this primetime thing. But I look at our defense. Our defense is peaking. I look at the play of Burfict.
Yeah.
I look at the play of Adam Jones. I look at where 97 is. I look at Dunlap. And you got Michael Johnson and Pecco. Those guys are coming, and some of the other DBs are making plays. And I think it's going to be tough because we're going to be playing a tough defense. But I think our offense is going to be able to get some inspiration from our defense like they did last week. I think we have another week with AJ. That's he's gonna be in an actual real game at real speed because you can get a lot of reps in practice in training camp, but Stan, speed goes up 2 notches come game time. So
absolutely.
I think the game is hopefully going to slow down for him some because when your first couple games in NFL, you don't realize the magnitude of the speed until you get to game day. And then it's like, because my rookie year, everything was so fast. Everybody was, the lineman, the center was fast, until, you got, and the thing about it, I was fast. AJ McCarron, Fast got a fast release and all that. But the game, with the experience comes in the ability for the game to slow down to him. And when the game slows down because of his experience, because of his knowledge of the offense and his confidence in his ability to make those NFL throws, it's going to do great wonders for him. So I think with we got another week under his belt, and we have the weapons. Just continue to do what you did in San Francisco. Don't make a huge mistake. Don't try to force the ball in there. You see, he made some beautiful deep throws one to Marvin Jones and the other one to AJ, and he had a great touch on it. And he just do that. Get the ball to our playmakers, and hopefully Giovanni can continue what he's doing, and we can get 32 going north and south. Got to get him going north and south. He can go north and south. I think we can have some good runs. I actually think we're going to run the ball better against Denver than we did in San Francisco. So that being said, man, I'll be excited all day Monday, waiting for that game, man. And this will be huge because it not only clinch the AFC North, it will clinch number 2 seed, and that will bode well for Houday Nation in our Super Bowl run because we want to, we want to go beyond the playoffs. But in my opinion, the only way we're going to get to the Super Bowl is with my redhead gunslinger, man. And I just truly believe because that guy played at such a high level this year, and I think healthy we can. I've talked about it all year. I think this is the closest thing to what we had in '88. Because I'm in Cincinnati. This is it. I see, the caliber of players they have. I see some of the special things that they have that we had. And you just hope that, it works out for them. But we definitely have to be healthy in order to, be able to reach, that pivotal game, which is the Super Bowl.
Yep. I think they can do it.
All right. Now I want to remind everybody real quick that on Sunday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, there'll be a Real Bengals Fans trivia contest. Winner gets a Joe Kelly autographed picture, but it'll go over 7 weeks. We'll have 4 first-round matchups where we'll have 3, and you have to go to realbengalfans.com or to Real Bengal Fans Facebook page to get entered to have a chance to be on the show. So we'll do that at 11 o'clock Sunday night. And I'm sure it'll be a trivia question on there with the answer being Joe Kelly.
Who
did the craziest dance coming out for Super Bowl 23? How about that?
That's the emotion, baby. That's it.
Hey, once again, I want to thank Stanford Jennings, Joe Kelly. Make sure you check out our sponsor, Gridiron Mo, at www.gridironmo.com. So once again, for Stanford Jennings, Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpasser. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.